Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
And here we go. We have been waiting for this all year long. Welcome in. It is Thursday, April 27, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching live on fox2detroit.com, welcome in. Braylon Edwards, the day is here. The NFL Draft. Hours from now. Good afternoon to you.
So excited. It's finally here. We've been talking about pick 6, pick 18. We've been talking 48. What are the Lions going to do? Trade up, trade down. Well, guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It is here. It has arrived, and I'm looking forward to tonight at 5th Ave. It is going to be a lot of fun doing that draft show.
Tom Mazawey, NFL porn, as we call it. I mean, it's just incredible. It's an incredible night for the fellas out there and, of course, the ladies. But my goodness, if you love football, tonight is your second favorite night of the year, probably.
Merry Christmas, everybody. I swear. This was it. This is why I never made it through St. Peter's College. Barely made it through North Bergen High School. That's not true. I'd stay home and I'd watch the draft because the draft will be done on one freaking day on ESPN. Started on a Tuesday morning, moved to a Wednesday, then a Thursday, then they split it up. Before you know it, it's got its own night for the first pick in the NFL draft, the first round tomorrow, rounds 2 and 3, and then the weekend for the rest of the wrap-up. I mean, it's the best. I mean, I'll be locked and loaded.
The history of the draft, too, in 1980, there was this little-known startup network. It was called ESPN. Nobody knew what the letters meant, but they thought it'd be a good idea to call up Pete Rozelle, the NFL commissioner at the time, and say, hey, Pete, we want to broadcast this draft. And he said, well, I don't think anybody's going to watch it. And then you go from a smoky hotel conference room in 1980.
Everybody smoking.
To Radio City Music Hall for much of the draft.
Remember Dr. Z?
I don't.
Paul Zimmerman. He was the first guy.
I don't remember
before
him.
Mel Kiper. Paul Zimmerman of Sports Illustrated sat next to Chris Berman.
Wow.
And the gang. And Dr. Z used to rock it.
That's incredible stuff. And then in 2010, it moved to this format we're on now because I think growing up for me, that Saturday, Sunday, 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. essentially was the greatest day on the sports calendar every year. That Saturday afternoon was one of the best days ever. Now, were you drafted on a Saturday? It was a weekend still. Yeah, it was a weekend still for you.
It was still a 2-day process back then. It was Saturday, it was Sunday. It was the Javits Center 2005. I love the format. They move it around city to city. Gotta love the format.
2015 it started doing that,
2015, I think Philly or
Chicago.
Chicago was first.
Yeah, Chicago,
Philly was the
Washington,
biggest,
Philadelphia.
2015, I think only a few years ago.
No, 2015 it started moving.
Are you telling me this is the 7th freaking year?
Yeah. Chicago twice,
Chicago
actually.
twice, Philly, Nashville, Cleveland. This is Vegas. Supposed to be in Vegas. So
the year's getting away from me.
And then COVID happened, so you got minus a year for COVID. But yeah, man, this is an exciting time. And I was just thinking about, this time 18 years ago. It's like, I still get goosebumps thinking about it.
I asked you about it yesterday, but do you recollect a little bit on a day like today when what the emotion that these players are going through, their families? I watched that Drew Maggi last night, and I thought about the NFL draft today a little bit.
Let's refresh everyone's mind who he is.
Drew Maggi, Pittsburgh Pirates, he is the minor leaguer that spent 13 years in the minor leagues, over 1,100 minor league baseball games, got called up last night. He got his first official at-bat in the big leagues last night, and the crowd was chanting, Maggi, Maggi. Yeah. And it was just like a lifetime of work that goes into that moment for your big moment. And I think about these youngsters tonight who are who have put so much work in their entire life, from the 7-on-7s to the 6 a.m. lifting sessions, to everything in between. Their parents put them in the car on the weekends and driving them all over to take them here, there, and everywhere to compete against the best in this camp and that camp. Tonight is the night to have your dream realized. I think it's such a fantastic thing for these kids to hear their names called, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
It's funny you say dream, and I'm gonna come back to kids getting their dreams realized. I'll come back to that, but it's 2 seasons in the draft process, Maz and Ryan. It's 2 seasons. Finished playing the Rose Bowl January 1st, so now the first season starts. It's January 2nd through April 19th, and pretty much, I don't care what's being made at this time. But once you know you're a top 10, once you know you're top 5, that's the mindset that you train with. That's the mindset you have. My every rep is Mike Williams isn't better than me. Troy Williamson, I ain't never heard of this dude. Like, I'm better than both these quarterbacks. So from January to, the week of the draft, I'm not listening to Mel Kiper, Todd McShay. I hear it, but I'm not worried about it because everything that has me top 4, top 5, top 2, top 1, not worried about it. Once you get to the draft, that's the second season, because that's when you start to listen to things. That's when you start to say, damn, is Mel Kiper going to let Mike Williams get drafted before me? Like, is there going to be some technicality to why I don't get drafted? I see Cedric Benson moving up the board. I see Ronnie Brown. Oh, my God. He didn't even start. Cadillac Williams. I'm like, oh, my God. Here comes Pac-Man. Here comes Antrell Rowe. Here comes Aaron Rodgers to be the favorite to go number 1. Here comes Alex Smith. So now that whole week is just nerve-wracking. And then you get the draft Saturday. Drafts. And then also, when you get to the draft, you see all these guys. Guess what? They're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. They're looking at me, but they're like, yeah, he doesn't know that I'm going before him. Yeah, and I'm looking at them and saying the same thing. And then you get to the morning of. We knew Alex was going to be number 1. We found out probably like midnight the night before they got their deal done. We knew he was going to be number 1. But 2 through, we didn't know who was going where. I assumed I was going 1 to the Dolphins. But
2 to the Dolphins.
Yeah, I said 2 through. Meaning
okay,
like 2 through. We didn't know where guys were going. But 2, I think I'm going to the Dolphins. I'm sitting there at the draft table. I'm sitting there in the green room. Charles Woodson has Debo'd his way into the green room. He's sitting next to me. And then Ronnie Brown's phone rings as opposed to mine. I'm like, whoa. Why is Ronnie Brown's phone ringing? So instantly now, I'm in panic mode. What if they were saying what's true about Mike Williams? What Mel Kiper was saying? What if I slip? Dang, I'm going to be in here just sitting around. I never talked to the Cleveland Browns. Will Chicago want me? That's what starts going through your head. And luckily, Cleveland called me at 3. I mean, I don't know how lucky it was now. But so Cleveland called me at 3, and it was an amazing experience. And there it is, man. This is draft day. This is after I had gotten drafted, gotten off the stage, and did the initial interview with ESPN. This is the very next picture.
Let me ask you this. Go back to that day. Do you wish you didn't go 3rd and you went somewhere else? I don't care.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the first round. Maybe not the top 3, but some other team.
As you look, if you're looking right now, this is the jersey. This is the jersey that Paul Tagliabue gave me on the stage.
Wow,
it's
no
framed
kidding.
at the house. That's my little skinny legs through the mirror. You can see it taking the picture.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so this is. But you know what, Matt? I always gave the cliche answer of no, everything happens like it's supposed to. Eventually, I was able to move from Cleveland. I get traded to the Jets. The rest is history. I'm rocking the Jets. I love the Jets. But if I'm being honest, I wish I wouldn't have went to the Browns. If I'm being honest, if you look at that draft, 4 was the Chicago Bears. A great city, a great football town. I could have been in the NFC North. I could have played back and forth. Look how many people I had on stage, Ryan.
Takes a village.
And I'm glad you said that. I wanted to bring everybody to the draft that had something to do with it. I didn't want to leave anybody out. I wanted to let people see Detroit. Detroit had everything to do with me getting there, and that's Detroit represented. But you look at 4 is Chicago, 5 is Tampa, 6 is Tennessee, 7 is Minnesota.
All is better teams.
All great places to play. Even 8 with the Bidwells is the Cardinals. They had just gotten the new uniforms. You talk about new uniforms. They got
Arizona.
Arizona's 8. 9 is the Washington Commanders now. And then 10 is your Detroit Lions.
Wow.
Man, I would have done anything. I always I always put myself in these kids' shoes.
Sure.
And I always said it up to a year ago. I always said if I hear my name being called by the Detroit Lions, I would have if it was at the in Vegas, I would have jumped in the Bellagio fountain. I'm just, in other words,
Lions fan.
to get picked by a bad franchise, it's got to take the heart out of you a little bit.
But you know what happens with bad franchises, and I don't think they're doing it so much now, but this is what they were doing then. Bad franchises learn from Deion Sanders. Bad franchises learn from LeVar Arrington, who told the Cleveland Browns, and him and his agent told him, don't draft me at 1. We don't want to play in Cleveland. We have no aspirations on being a Cleveland Brown. So they end up taking Courtney Brown 1, and LeVar goes 3rd to the Washington Commanders. Like, I wish I would have said that. Nowadays, teams aren't letting you know that they're gonna take you unless they're moving up to get you. So you don't know. It's like, oh, well, I don't know what's going on, and then they sneak and take you. So I wish they did not take me. But hey, I made it. I'm 3rd overall. I can be proud of that.
You can't take. No one takes that away from you.
Even so, Bray, you're probably not saying that anyway, because at the time you had a guarantee from Miami that they were going to take you at 2. So you didn't have to come out and say, I'm not going to Cleveland at 3, because in your mind. Yeah, you're not going to Cleveland because you're going 2 to Miami.
Which means if I would have said that, then Cleveland wouldn't have drafted me. I could have been somewhere else. But see, they didn't tell me that so they could draft me.
Unbelievable. Hey, you mentioned Charles Woodson, how he was sitting next to you on draft day. He was sitting next to me earlier today. Charles Woodson, of course, works for Fox Sports. He was in town earlier this morning promoting a little bit of the USFL, the Michigan Panthers game at Ford Field on Sunday at 4 o'clock. Game is going to be on Fox 2, but he was there at Fox 2, and I asked him, obviously, about the NFL draft. Said it was one of the greatest nights of his life, in his family's life, because of all the work that they put in, and ultimately it changed his life forever. And he did say today, and Braylon, we're going to go through some questions today, but I asked him if there's any gold jackets in this draft, and he said, first one that jumps off the page at me is Jalen Carter. He said this guy's just a different guy. He's a different guy out there, so we'll see where that falls. But what a thrill. Within the first 30 seconds, I mentioned that I did a show with Braylon Edwards, and he joined us, and he was like, how's Braylon doing? How's Braylon doing?
Hey, he ain't being controversial, is he? He ain't being controversial, is he? All right, tell him I said what's up. It's my little brother.
Have you found out anything about
That's my big brother, though,
Yeah,
man.
he was flying to Vegas tonight to do. He's part of the Raiders draft night tonight. So I asked him to come on with us today, but he said he could. He'll join us at some point. But he was on a plane going back to Vegas.
Funny story, Charles Woodson. So this is the summer going into my senior year in Michigan. I was doing a PSA. They flew me down, me and Marcus Spears, actually, from LSU, who now is on ESPN. Shout out to Swagoo, big Swagoo. So I tell
Sup, Swags.
I tell Swagoo, I'm like, hey, big. I said, Charles is the homie. He said, oh, see Wood? Oh, would love to meet him. So we do the PSA. It's like 110 degrees, by the way. You know how it feels to do something 35 times over and over and over and over again when it's 112
yes.
at SMU? At SMU? Like, Jesus Christ.
No, I don't, actually.
But anyway, we finish. C. Wood comes, picks us up, takes us to his house in Sugar Land, Texas, which is on the outskirts of Houston, hang out for a while, and then he takes us to the strip club. So we go to the gentleman's joint. And he gives us each some money. He gives us each, none of your business or how much, but he gives us some money.
Couple $100.
And, I put a couple dollars out there, and I save a couple because at the same time, I'm still 21 years old. I'm very much in college, and this is before NIL. So the type of money that I had, I said this could go a long way. Marcus Spears put all his money up and then was sitting at the bar the rest of the time. I was like, what are you doing? Hey, dog, I ain't never had this much money in my hand, man. I ain't spending none of it. I just died laughing. But
$50 million?
$50 million, man. But Charles is that type of dude who always looks out for the younger cats.
That's awesome, man. What a great guy. And thrilled to meet him. People come into Fox. We got a lot of people come into Fox, too.
You interviewed Charles Woodson and Stone Cold in the
same week.
And it's Thursday. It's not even Friday.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
It's been a good week. Hey, you were there last night.
I was.
Charlie Langton came in to work today. He's like, right. Let me tell you. Braylon, great. Oh, my God. Braylon Edwards. Oh, he was great last night. Oh.
You know what's so funny is I get this. So Charlie knows my mom.
Braylon didn't let it rip last night.
Charlie knows my mom. Shout out to Charlie Langton. Amazing job. Charlie knows my mom. They've known each other for a long time. Darren didn't come yesterday. Darren got held up by his business. So it was just Charlie and I. As soon as I got there, me and Charlie basically did the show from the time I walked into Fox 2, the little lobby area, through to the studio. We sat there and talked the whole show. By the time we start recording, we had already talked for 30 minutes.
Unbelievable.
It was great stuff.
He's a great dude. Hey,
You got to get your points in quick, Charlie. You got to get your points in quick.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, guys, a longtime sports writer for the AP, the Associated Press, Larry Lage, is going to join us in about 1 hour from now. We'll talk to him about the Detroit Lions, the NFL draft, and, of course, get his thoughts on Jameson Williams and the NFL's gambling rules. We'll talk to him about that. But next, the perfect scenario for the Detroit Lions. Going to present that to you next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. How would you like to win a new vehicle for you and your friend, your wife, your girlfriend, your kid, your mom, your dad, whoever? All you have to do is get to Lady Jane's and automatically register for your chance to win, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's open 7 days a week, several locations throughout the Metro Detroit area, several more nationwide. For more, it's wicked awesome. Wicked awesome.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hey gang, woodwardsports.com. If you're watching on YouTube, almost 600 live viewers right now. Go ahead and hit that like button. Let's see if we can get to over 100 likes by the end of this segment. Of course, and don't forget about the Woodward Sports Draft Show tonight. It is at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. If you can't make it out, watch on woodwardsports.com. Braylon, I thought this was, I saw it earlier, and again, whether it happens or not,
Right.
probably not going to happen. But I think this is the absolute best case scenario for the Detroit Lions. When I read it off, I want you, A, to tell me if you agree with that assessment or disagree with that assessment. Okay, so Todd McShay, ESPN NFL draft analyst, put out his final mock draft today. His final mock draft goes as follows. He has Bryce Young going number 1. Then he has the Houston Texans selecting Tyree Wilson at 2. At 3, he has Tennessee trading up with Arizona. They will select C.J. Stroud. At 4, Indianapolis, Will Levis. And at 5, the Seattle Seahawks selecting Anthony Richardson. 4 quarterbacks off the board and Tyree Wilson. That leaves the Detroit Lions with their choice of Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr. Tell me that is not the perfect scenario for the Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions select.
Perfect scenario, because this is 100%. This is where I've been the whole time of this process. I've wanted Jalen Carter, or I've wanted a defensive tackle, move into a defensive end. Once we start realizing that Will Anderson Jr. might slip, he might fall, that becomes the guy. I think this is the piece. This is the piece that can send the defense over the top. This is a piece that will definitely send the defense over the top. So if it falls like this, man, Detroit is just licking their chops, man. It can't get any better for the Detroit Lions and how they've been drafting over the past 3 years, how things have slated to them, how the free agency was. If this is how it's slated, if this is how it is, for you to have those 2 options at 6, you might mess around and miss your pick. Because the odds are so good. You're like, man, either way we go. But this is what you want to have in Detroit Lions. Like, this would be a dream come true.
I'll tell you what, guys. If that does happen, and I did answer true to your question yesterday, Ryan.
Remember
You said,
that one?
Will there be 2 quarterbacks taken before the Lions pick at 6? I said there might be 3. Todd McShay says 4. And you know what? I don't disagree. Like I said yesterday, everyone except the guys in the chat want a quarterback. That's what you do. When you say quarterback, it's the most important position in the NFL. That's how you win. And if those 2 guys fall to the Lions, you're going to see Brad Holmes celebrate like he did when he got Penei Sewell.
Remember the other question that I had for you guys yesterday as part of my true or false? will Tyree Wilson be the first defensive player selected?
Yes, you did.
Todd McShay says true to that statement, apparently.
I said false, and I don't know. I guess he didn't watch Dr. David Chow say that Tyree Wilson might be damaged goods. Tyree says, hey, I'm going to be fine, guys. Yeah, I had surgery on my foot. I'll be ready for the OTAs.
He felt the need to respond to that.
Yes, he did.
He felt the need to come out and respond to that and tell everybody that he will be ready for OTAs, because I think if you're taking a rookie who is quote-unquote injured, you do want them to go through the offseason program. And that's one of the things that we saw a lot with Josh Pascal last year. Remember, I mean, that kid never had a training camp.
No.
I mean, he was hurt all year.
We never even heard of him
Exactly.
until literally when he got started in the game.
No doubt. So, I mean, you want those rookies to be able to be healthy enough to go through the entire offseason training program.
Yeah, 100%. I think the thing with Tyree Wilson, we live in an era now where players can control their own fate to a certain extent. Players can reach out. They can talk for themselves, speak for themselves. If something like this would have happened back in the day, I would have had to have my agent reach out to Fox or reach out to Jim Rome, and try to get on so that I could tell my story. Now all you got to do is send out a tweet or send out a video and say, hey, that's not true. I'll be ready. I think he will be ready. I don't think he has any reason to lie. But I definitely, with that Texans move, I don't see it being Tyree Wilson, but I definitely can see it being a defensive player. You got D'Amico Ryans as a head coach. He's a defensive guy. Maz, I pose this more so to you. Every team that wins a Super Bowl, every team that has sustained success by a defensive coach or a defensive coordinator or a head coach, they got their guy.
Yep.
If it's Baltimore and it's Brian Billick, it's Ray Lewis. He had a couple of guys. He was lucky, but it's Ray Lewis. That's your guy. You look at Parcells. Parcells, who do you have?
LT.
If you want to win in this game, look at the 49ers now. Who do they have?
Bosa.
They got Nick Bosa. If you're a defensive coach, you want to have your players. D'Amico Ryans played the linebacker position at a very high level. You cannot tell me that he's looking at this quarterback class and saying, hey, guys, I may be a defensive guy, but this quarterback class seems to be all over the place. What if we just took our gold jacket at Will Anderson Jr.? Why don't you let me have my Will Anderson Jr. and not force a quarterback? I definitely tell you that's the conversation that's been going on since D'Amico Ryans, before he walked through the door. This is what the conversation was.
And it seems like Will Anderson really has a good thing going with the Houston Texans. I've seen interviews, and he wants to be there. Of course, he wants to be picked second.
Yeah.
You want to be picked first. So he's putting it out there that I would love to play with the Houston Texans, and they're telling you the same thing. I don't see Tyree Wilson going above any of those two guys, either of those two guys, Jalen Carter or Will Anderson Jr. I just don't see it.
Is that a cocky move? If it does happen, I mean, let's be honest here. Everybody watches the games.
Yeah.
I'm no draft evaluator, and all I can do, maybe if Tyree Wilson played for Alabama and wore that uniform, would I feel differently about him? Perhaps. I just feel like Will Anderson Jr. and Jalen Carter are by far the two best defensive prospects in this draft. I mean, I think those two guys change franchises. I don't feel like that about Tyree Wilson. Now, granted, it's not like I sit there and watch Texas Tech every week, but Jadeveon Clowney played at a school that not everybody sits there and watches South Carolina games either every week, and everybody knew that guy all season long. And the hit
I knew him before that.
on the Michigan running back, but you knew Clowney's name.
He didn't have to play that year. Now, he didn't have to play that year. He could have did what Nick Bosa did, set up with a fake ankle injury, not play it all year. Everybody, to your point, they knew who the hell Jadeveon Clowney was. Like with Tyree Wilson, you're like, how's this guy not only jumping Jalen Carter and jumping Will Anderson, guys that we believe could be a gold jacket player, guys that we've seen on the national level, the highest of level. He's jumping quarterbacks too for teams that need quarterbacks. I don't know. I guess that upside, that unknown. Like, that's what the draft has become, the unknown. What is it with Anthony Richardson? The unknown. What is it with Will Levis? It's the unknown. What is it with Tyree Wilson? It's the unknown.
That's why you have 6 to 8 teams fire their head coaches every year, though, too, and why you have general managerial turnovers like you do in the NFL, because you got guys, let's just say for the hypothetical, you got guys that take Tyree Wilson over maybe a Hall of Fame quarterback. You don't know. We don't know. Or maybe a Hall of Famer in Jalen Carter and Will Anderson Jr. But one of the great things about tonight And we've been sitting here for 4+ months talking about the NFL draft and which way the Lions would go and all these players. We're football nuts. We're a bunch of nut jobs up here that sit. This is really the one hypothetical that actually comes true. We sit here and talk about hypotheticals in this business all the time, and you can never prove whether that hypothetical is going to come to fruition or not. This is one of the great parts about the NFL draft is that this hypothetical that we've been talking about all year long, Bijan Robinson at 6. I'm going to be able to be proved tonight whether the Lions are going to take Bijan Robinson at 6, or are they going to take a quarterback? Is Tyree Wilson going to be the first defensive player? Our 4 quarterbacks going to be taken off the board? All that will be provable, tonight.
And not only provable, but like how far were you from what happened? How far off the space of reality or off the space of like what happened in this draft? How far off were you in terms of your picks and what you said could happen and you said couldn't happen? A lot of that gets answered. You know what it's called? Instant gratification. Because we can't wait to see it happen. Because we, just like everybody else, man, we've been saying a lot of things could be true. A lot of moves could be made. Why a lot of things do work? Well, you know what? Brad Holmes tonight can shut us all up and show us what they've been thinking.
Who knows if they're even picking at 6, guys? Who knows?
And that's another question. There are so many teams that want to trade down in this draft. Does anybody want to trade up? Would the price?
Tennessee does.
Tennessee wants to trade up to get your quarterback, though. I think
they don't have a lot. That's the only thing with Tennessee. They don't have a lot to give.
But that spot's at 3. That spot's not at 6.
Yeah. It might be at 6, right?
Maybe it is.
If Todd McShay's wrong, there might be a quarterback left at 6.
Yeah, perhaps. But is it the quarterback that they want?
Right.
Maybe they trade up to Houston. Who friggin' knows if they desperately have their guy that they want? Why would I
think Arizona and Tennessee are the wild card teams. I know that's not putting out there a shocker, but I don't think Arizona makes their pick, and I think Tennessee moves up into the top 5 or 6.
By the way, in this McShay mock draft that I gave you about the 4 quarterbacks and Tyree Wilson, he does have the Lions selecting Will Anderson over Jalen Carter. Yeah. He has Carter not going off the board to the Chicago Bears at 9, which wouldn't that be something?
What have we said from the get-go?
They were mocked to him at 1.
Yeah.
So
they would be dancing
stuff
in the streets
on
Michigan Avenue.
100%, because they got the trade of a lifetime from Carolina Panthers, and then they were able to still get who they would have drafted at number 1.
Let's talk more about this, plus which direction that the Lions beat writers believe they're going to go. We'll do it next, but first a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
All right, Chili Peppers Tanning, 27 locations, 2 right here on Woodward Avenue. If you join the Pepper Club, they're going to treat you right. They're going to beat all competitors by $5 on unlimited tanning. Plus, you get the cleanest salons in the D and the best trained tanning professionals. The hottest deals, the darkest tans, your vitamin D headquarters. You know it, ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Get a shot up. This is for the win.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
WoodwardSports.com, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. Let me just read for you under the scenario that Todd McShay gave that the Detroit Lions would select Will Anderson Jr. I think there's a solid chance this ends up being Illinois cornerback Devin Witherspoon, but I also think there's But I also don't think there's any shot the Lions would pass up on Anderson if he's there on the board. This would be 2 straight years they were gift-wrapped the class's top edge rush prospect, Aiden Hutchinson, in 22. Anderson, explosive first step, powerful hands, paired with Hutchinson and James Houston, would take Detroit's defense to another level.
Amen.
Anderson would be just, isn't he the guy tonight if the Lions can get him?
That was your dream last year.
That was my dream. Wouldn't he be the guy to take there?
I think he will. I mean, you look at what he could do on one side and what Aiden Hutchinson can do on the other side. You also look at what he can do in coverage. I talked about it yesterday, how he can move out to the flats. He covers the space of field. You know, kind of like when you watch Fred Warner for the 49ers, how he covers that sideline to sideline. He has that ability, but he has that ability as a rush in, as an outside linebacker, as a guy that can drop in coverage as well. He's a special type talent. And when you have 2 guys of that caliber, Aiden Hutchinson on the left, who, by the way, is still getting better, who's only going to be better this season than he was last season, and then Will Anderson outside, it makes it that much better for those guys in the middle, Isaiah Buggs, as well as Aleem McNeil. Man, it's that could be something special, because you don't know. Usually a quarterback goes an opposite way. Usually a plan in the game is going to be to go away from the strength. If you're playing Micah Parsons, you're usually going to go to the left of that a lot of times, especially if you're in the field. Same thing with insert Hassan Reddick here, insert whatever. If you got Aiden Hutchinson on one side and you have Will Anderson on the other side, Will Anderson Jr., you can't do that. You can't pick a side. You have to play man up, and it's going to be tough.
No doubt about that. Thanks for the contribution there, Tom Mazawey. Devin Witherspoon is a name that he's just sitting there nodding. It's a freaking
He's
talk
excited.
show. Sitting there nodding.
Tom's so excited. He's just ready for it to be all over.
Devin Witherspoon is a guy that I think a lot of people have linked to the Detroit Lions. Again, and I said this yesterday, gun to my head, I feel that Devin Witherspoon is ultimately going to be the pick there, the cornerback from Illinois. I just want to read for you. McShay has him going to Atlanta, but I just want to read for you what he says about Witherspoon. I love Witherspoon's physicality and instincts in coverage. He can make plays on the ball. He intercepted 3 passes last season and broke up 14 more. As an aside, I do think running back Bijan could be in consideration at 8. By the way, he doesn't have Bijan going until 21, so he would have Detroit passing up on Bijan Robinson at 18 and them taking Kalijah.
These guys don't know any more
No,
than us.
they don't.
They don't.
I'm just,
I mean, how's that going to happen? There's no way in hell.
I don't think it will happen.
There's no way in hell he's going to 21. No way.
Right.
As it relates to Witherspoon, I think, because everybody's talking about now, Devon Witherspoon, he's jumped up there late. Everybody picks, you just talked to Charles Woodson. Charles Woodson, what did he tell you? He said, I think Devon Witherspoon is going to be the pick. The Lions love their secondary coach over there at Illinois. He's no longer there now. He took another job. Last couple years, they're in love with the way in which he coached DBs. You see Kirby Smart. You saw what you got out of Kirby Smart from the start of the season till they really got him implemented and how he finished that season. They love the DBs that come out of there. He's definitely physical, has great ball skill, plays safety as well as slot and outside. So you're getting a guy that can play head up in the slot. So if you're playing at Justin Jefferson and they want to move him around, well, he can move around too. He's comfortable in the slot. He's comfortable outside. Later on in the career, or even in certain situations, certain packages, he can move to safety as well. They want a DB for the long run. This is a new NFL. You get all these wide receivers, what we expect J-Mo to be, what we've seen Justin Jefferson to be, Devontae Adams, the list goes on. So long list of dog receivers. You got to have your dog DB. And Big Ten DBs, they play physical as any other coverage. Physical as any other conference. They're physical. They're man-to-man. They're ready for you at the line of scrimmage. And they're fast as well, because Deonte Banks out of Maryland is another sleeper guy out of Maryland.
Our safeties are going to be off the chart good this year. I just want people to remember that. We did sign 4 good people. Tracy Walker included.
C.J. Gardner-Johnson, yes. Cam Sutton.
And Elijah Mosley.
Yes.
Yeah, the secondary is mean. The secondary is going to be mean. Yes, last year, that secondary was atrocious. It was a place of need. It was a place of, we playing the Lions, we're going to throw the ball up top on you all. Now, in just a little bit of work, Brad Holmes is able to get the secondary right, and you still have 5 picks inside 81, so you can make it even better. Devon Witherspoon, look, check this out. We want the defensive tackle at 6. We want the defensive end rush in at 6. But if it's Devon Witherspoon, I'm not mad at it as well.
Emmanuel Mosley, Tracy Walker. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I will tell you, if you look at the Lions secondary, though, in all of these local beat writers for the Detroit Lions believe it's either going to be Witherspoon or Gonzalez. Devin Witherspoon. In fact, everybody thinks Devin Witherspoon there. That feels to me like you know how you watch a pregame show and all of the guys pick one team against the spread as the sure bet. So that means that Devin Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez are not going to be the pick, right? Doesn't it? Who's the one? Nick Baumgartner up there says Christian Gonzalez over Devin Witherspoon, but Kyle Meinke up there. Jeff Risdon, Dave Burkett believe it's going to be Devin Witherspoon.
The only caution I would throw into the win against Devin Witherspoon, him coming in, being a 6th pick, he plays in the Big Ten. If you look at the wide receiver play in the Big Ten in the last couple of years since he's really started, I mean, he made consensus All-American this year, which means he's made 7 out of 10 All-American publications, which is phenomenal. First defensive back at Illinois to do so, even including Vontae Davis, who had a stellar career in the NFL. There's not a ton of dog wide receivers in the Big Ten. It's not a lot of guys that Witherspoon or Joey Porter Jr. are going to be going up against, or that they've gone up against, that are going to mirror what they're going to see in the NFL. There's going to be a learning curve for these DBs. There's going to be a lot of holding penalties as well for Joey Porter Jr. as well as Devin Witherspoon. I promise you that. Because in the Big Ten right now, you got, 4 guys that had 1,000 yards last season. 2 of those guys are in the same team, Ibuka as well as Marvin Harrison Jr. for Ohio State. You're not seeing what the SEC has to offer. You're not seeing what you're going to be seeing in the NFL. So be very leery of that, drafting a Big Ten corner, 6 overall. I promise you that.
Don't forget, linebacker is a spot that they're going to need something here.
Free agency, baby.
Free agency. They had their chance at free agency.
Not free agency, but
they just re-signed Anzalone. I mean, they let Wagner go and a bunch of others go. I think they're going to draft one.
It's still a trade out there, man.
All right.
Let me just read for you what McShay says about Kalijah Cansey, the defensive tackle from Pittsburgh, that I think is, I have my, I think he's like in the 30s when it comes to the best available guys on the official big board. I think he ranks 30th, but they have him going 18 here. Remember when the Lions allowed 6.2 yards per play last season, by far the worst in the NFL? Well, I liked what they did in free agency on that side of the ball, using their 2 first-round picks, continuing to shore up the defensive line. Questions about Cansey, if he could play at the next level, because he's only 281 pounds, but he has speed and explosion to be disruptive on Detroit's defensive line. He had 7.5 sacks last season, makes for an excellent run defender on the interior. That's Kalijah Cansey. If the Lions came out of here with Anderson and Cansey, that would be great. I think my home run dream would be if they came out of here with Will Anderson and Bijan Robinson.
Mel's got Carter and Cansey 1-2 on defensive tackles on his ranking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
1-2.
He's a monster. I mean, he's shorter than you would like. He's smaller than you would like, but he's dominant. He's powerful. You know, we've seen this happen time and time again, where a guy is underrated because of his size at that position, but then comes into the league and dominates. Whether it was Dwight Freeney for the Colts or whether it was Elvis Dumervil who dominated for the Broncos as well as the Baltimore Ravens, they've proved time and time again it's not necessarily about the prototypical size. It's about the guy that wants to get in there and get to the quarterback.
Don't forget Mazzy Smith as well is up there. So, I mean, Mazzy Smith's going to make somebody happy.
Definitely. He's ranked, I think, the number 7th defensive tackle, defensive line play.
He's got him 3rd.
He's got him 3rd interior defensive line.
Yep.
Look, he had a heck of a year last year. He got injured towards, he had to miss some time, but Mazzy Smith had a heck of a year. He could make somebody happy as one of those guys where he's still the cylinders going, much like David Njoku, much like Aiden Hutchinson. People forgot about David Njoku. If he ever comes off that Achilles for the Colts, I do believe he's going to have a hell of a year this year. And then Aiden is still getting better. I see the same thing for Mazzy Smith. Michigan, their defense, they're late bloomers in the NFL.
For the record, I've been focusing so much on McShay's mock draft because that's the one I think is the...
That's because you like it.
Well, I like it. I think
that's
the one. It's the perfect scenario for the Detroit Lions. Mel Kiper's final mock draft has Bryce Young going 1 to Carolina, Will Anderson going 2 to Houston, and then he's got Tennessee moving up to 3. Maybe there's smoke there. Everybody believes Tennessee's going to move up to 3.
I think Mel's got it.
And Arizona, by the way, would love to be able to take Paris Johnson or one of those offensive tackles, and they don't want to do that at 3. The value there just doesn't seem logical. So he's got Tennessee taking C.J. Stroud at 3. At 4, Will Levis. At 5, Jalen Carter.
The Detroit Lions select.
That's right. Under this scenario, Anderson and Carter are off the board. At 6, then, he's got the Detroit Lions selecting Devin Witherspoon over Tyree Wilson. And again, I said it the other day, Tyree Wilson's off my board because of the injury.
Mine too.
And because of the fact that I don't know anything about the guy other than his size is good and he has good projections. But I never heard his name once this season.
I think Mel's
plays
board.
at Texas Tech. So, I mean, you're not gonna hear his name.
But again, I go back to the South Carolina guy.
South Carolina's a damn school. Every year, South Carolina is ranked to do something that they don't end up doing.
Jadavion Clowney. His name lost me for a minute.
No, but with that, the second pick overall, I'm telling you, like, there's a reason why everybody's going defense now, and it's because you got 2 guys in this draft right now for DeMeco Ryans to literally put Hall of Fame jackets on. You look at Jalen Carter, you look at Will Anderson Jr., you give the defensive coach his player. If I'm sitting in there in the meetings, I'm saying, hey, let's not force a quarterback when we got 2 guys that can wear a gold jacket. Can I have my record? Can I have my offensive record? I think that's what you'll see. And then you're looking at the Tennessee Titans. They're about to get that new, $2.5 billion stadium, the Nissan Stadium down there in Nashville, that beautiful structure they're going to build. You don't want Ryan Tannehill to be your quarterback when you're ushering in this $2.5 billion stadium. You want somebody new.
Or Malik Willis, by the way.
Or Malik Willis.
They got some time yet.
True. What is it, 2024 it opens?
I think another year after that even.
Well, but here it is.
It just got the okay.
For Kuiper, some of the big names on here anyway. He's got Tyree Wilson not going until 8 to the Falcons. He's got Bijan Robinson going 10 to the Eagles. He's got Anthony Richardson going to Houston to 12. Wouldn't that be something for Houston to be able to get Will Anderson Jr. at 2 and then come back and still get a quarterback who could perhaps sit and wait behind.
It means the Lions don't take him.
Davis Webb. Is it? What's his name?
Davis.
Is it Davis Webb who's there?
No, it's David Mills.
David Mills or whoever's the Houston Texans quarterback.
Davis Mills.
And then I do not like what he's got for the Lions at 18. I say in Brad Holmes we trust. If he takes the tight end at 18, I'm going to be pissed.
No. Hard pass.
Michael Mayer?
Michael Mayer. He's got the Lions really don't have many immediate roster holes, but I love the idea of Dan Campbell going old school tight end to help his offense. Mayer is a willing blocker and upside as a pass catcher. I don't think the offense needs a first round tight end. That's me. I just don't think the offense in which they run, you need a dedicated numero uno tight end.
I'd rather get the receiver there.
They have
really pushing it.
Zay Flowers and Jackson Smith in Jigba available. Joey Porter Jr. available.
Yeah, if Jackson Smith and Jigba is available at 18, I would love for the Detroit Lions to take him. I think he's an amazing receiver. I actually think he's going to be the best. Actually, no, he's the best receiver in this draft, and I think he plays at a level that people have forgotten about. Flannel Sam, you can attest. I think people forgot how good Jackson Smith and Jigba is there. If he's there at 18, I have no problem with taking him.
Yeah, I mean, in his freshman year, he had more receiving yards than Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave. And look what Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave did in the NFL. Jackson Smith and Jigba was wide receiver number 1 over both of them. So I'm not saying that necessarily projects to the NFL, but still, that is a damn good sign. And people have forgotten about him because he was hurt.
But to Michael Mayer, Ryan Ermanni, look, if we're going to say Brad Holmes, we're going to let him cook this, that, and the third. Michael Mayer is a damn good tight end. There's a reason why.
No doubt. Best tight end in the draft.
100%. There's a reason why he won the award.
I thought you liked Dalton Kincaid.
And he also is
off the board.
Hell of a blocker, as well as a hell of a pass receiving tight end, to the level of it's not one of those things where he's a blocker, which makes him slow. And I said this yesterday. He's not a slow tight end. He just happens to be stout. He doesn't mind putting his hand in there and getting a block and put a body on somebody. You talk about a running team, talk about the offensive line being the strong suit. Well, here now you got another free offensive lineman who, oh, by the way, can be a Pro Bowl tight end.
Well, if Jackson Smith and Jigba is on the board at 18 and they go Michael Mayer, I'd have a really tough time with that.
Yeah, I would have a tough time with it as well. Mm-hmm. Not only it's not from the standpoint of what Jameson Williams is going through right now, where he's missing 6 games, and it's not
totally agree with you.
It's the fact that you get Jameson Williams opposite of Jackson Smith and Jigba with Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot. This is what the NFL looks like now. This is what good offenses look like. When you look at offenses, when you get excited about the offenses you like, this is what it looks like. It looks like something like that. So if Jackson's there, Michael Mayer's there, and they take Michael Mayer, I'm pissed.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Braylon, we got a Braylon Edwards Top 10 Thursday.
Oh, yeah.
It's coming up next, but first a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, tells the bad guys one thing.
Stay out.
Whether you are at home or on the road, customized solutions from real experts, 24/7 professional monitoring, and technology backed by people. That's right. All you have to do is call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Call them today. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Gotta know the number.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party, live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey, Strawberry Fest is back, and big boy, get it while it's got right here now. Try those classic breakfast items. Start off with the strawberry hot cakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. And if you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap. Cool off with a delicious summer splash salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including their berry delicious strawberry pie, deep fried vanilla Oreos, or strawberry hot fudge cake. All of it at your local Big Boy.
And all of us will be in Royal Oak tonight at the 2023 Woodward Sports NFL Draft Party at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. We invite you out there to join us. If you cannot, we will be live beginning at 7:30 tonight right here on woodwardsports.com. Woodwardsports.com, the place to be for you tonight. Lock in with us, and we will take you through pick by pick as the NFL Draft and Roger Goodell makes his selections. Braylon Edwards, it is that time of the week we like to do Top 10 Thursday. Top 10 Thursday.
Top 10, baby. You know what? I looked at the draft. I said, how are these players' NFL careers going to be? So I came up with some questions to see what did you guys think and who are going to be the answers to these questions. So the questions, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, at home, pretty simple. So I'll start off with, we'll go 10 to 1. Who in this draft is going to be your offensive rookie of the year? I'll go Maz, Flano, Ryan.
Ooh, I like it.
Offensive rookie of the year is going to be Jackson, Smith, and Jigba. I don't know who's going to take him. Whoever takes him, he's going to follow in Garrett Wilson's footsteps. I like that kid to make a splash right away.
I like it. I don't have a problem with it. Flano?
I'm going to go with Bijan Robinson. I think that he is going to be one of the top 5 rushers in the NFL from day one. And depending on the situation, he could go even higher. So, Bijan Robinson.
I like it. Ryan Ermanni.
I'm going to go with the number 1 overall pick. It's going to be Bryce Young. I think Carolina is going to be a really decent football team this year. I mean, last year they had no quarterback. They traded away their best player in Christian McCaffrey, and all they did was go down to the final weekend of the season and compete for a division championship, even though the division sucked. Yeah. I'm not sold on Derek Carr and the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay is down, so Carolina could very well win that division. If they do, Bryce Young is going to be the offensive rookie MVP.
Look at this guy. All right, right back to you. Defensive Rookie of the year, Ryan Ermanni. Who you going with?
It depends who the Lions take. I really do. I think this defense is going to be really, really good this year. So I'm going to take Will Anderson. If Will Anderson goes to Detroit, which I think is a real possibility, I'm going to say Will Anderson Jr. on the Lions. If Will Anderson Jr. goes to the Texans, can I say Jalen Carter?
Yeah.
Jalen Carter.
Just take all the defense.
No, but I listen, because I honestly, as we do this, and I know this is fun and we're just kind of talking, but I think where these players go matters. I don't think it's up to, like, Will Anderson Jr. is a great talent. If he goes to friggin' Houston, he's lost in the mix. That defense sucks. That team sucks. Not saying it can't be better, but I'd like to be on a team with a bunch of defensive players already.
Makes a lot of sense. 100%. Charles Woodson told you the same thing today, did he not?
Absolutely.
Flannel Sam.
I am going to go with Will Anderson no matter what. I am personally guaranteeing he will at least have 10 sacks this season, which was more than Aiden Hutchinson had last season. And
the same as he had last year.
Depending on the situation, I could even see him maybe challenging for the all-time rookie sack record, which Javon Curse has
14
at 14.5. Absolutely.
Yeah, the freak.
The freak.
I just love Tennessee. I told you my father played for the Oilers, so naturally I became a Tennessee Titans fan.
Oh, yeah.
The freak.
The freak.
Monster. He played for the Philadelphia Eagles. Maz,
Yes,
defensive
sir.
rookie of the year. Who you going with?
I'm going to follow the Jets trend again. I'm going to go Sauce Gardner's buddy. I'm going to go Devin Witherspoon. He's going to sign here with the Lions. He's going to make that defense that much better.
He's not going to be a holdout.
And Devin Witherspoon is going to be your defensive rookie of the year.
Remember when there were holdouts?
I held out. I held out. I think I held out. When I came into Kent, when I signed the day of the first preseason game. So I tried to play in the game too. My coach was like, get your ass out of here.
You know, like just going back, even the Lions got screwed when they picked so high. I think Matthew Stafford and Ndamukong Suh was the year that they stopped being the highest paid player every year. Remember, the number one overall pick would just be the highest paid player in the NFL every year. And they're like, wait a minute here. Maybe we should have this rookie scale. By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that like button. Let's get to over 200 likes by the end of this segment. Nearly 1,000 live viewers.
Glad they did that after me. Maz, you are up at number 8. Surprise of the 2023 NFL Draft first round. Who's going to have the surprise career? Or surprise first year?
Who's going to have a surprise year?
I got an answer if you need to think about it.
Who's going to have the surprise year?
Go ahead, Ryan.
He's going to be a first-round pick. He's going to go to a good team at the end. It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs.
Ooh.
Jahmyr Gibbs, running back from Alabama, is going to go to a good team, and he's going to have an impact. He will be the surprise of this year's first round.
Glad you said it. That's actually who I got to be the rookie offensive player.
Really?
Yeah, that's who I got actually. Flano.
Surprise. This guy's been falling a lot lately, so I think this will qualify as a surprise. I've got Quentin Johnston. I think he's going to end up having a better career than Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm a big fan of his. I think that he will be the star wide receiver from this class.
Nice. Don't sleep on Brian Bresee.
Good one, Braylon.
Brian Bresee?
Good answer, Braylon.
He's sneaking back up the charts. I think he's going to be the forgotten defensive lineman in this draft. I think he's going to be damn good. He's extremely fast for his size. Don't forget how good he was early. Got a little hurt later on in his career, second and third year, but he's going to be damn good. That's my sleeper for this year's draft.
How about Hendon Hooker?
He could be. I hope he is.
I just don't think he's going to play this year.
Yeah, because
But it's a surprise if someone picks him in the first round.
I think it's a guarantee. I think Hendon Hooker will absolutely be a first-round pick tonight. You will hear his name. And again, part of it is because of that fifth year.
You're going to need it.
Only first-round picks get a fifth-year option. That only happens in the first round. So,
and if you don't believe Ryan Ermanni, just look at what the Philadelphia Eagles just had to do.
Exactly.
They had to pay their second-round pick.
Exactly.
Moved off. Are we on the next question?
Yeah.
Moved off of first, Ryan Ermanni. Who will be moved off of first out of the first-round guys?
Meaning
who's a bust? I just don't like the word bust.
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers. You think he's catching up a little,
yeah,
a little late? They just need a wide receiver, so they're throwing him in there.
Zay Flowers.
Okay.
A lot of people say he's the best wide receiver in the class.
It's like Christian Watson.
Yeah.
Like he's this year's version of Christian Watson in my eyes. You, Flannel Sam.
All right. To the delight of everyone else in the room, I'm being sarcastic. I'm gonna go with Anthony Richardson.
Ouch.
You know what? I just don't see it. He was never productive in college. He was very, very inaccurate, and he's to me, a bit of a media creation. They're trying to recreate the Josh Allen, the next Josh Allen. Josh Allen was the exception, not the rule. Anthony Richardson will be moved off first.
Oh, yeah, he felt that. He felt that one in his soul. Tom Mazawey, I call to you.
I'll go with old short arms, Peter Skoronsky. I'm going to say old short arms.
That's not a bad
bust.
That's
been
not a
bust
bad
before.
one.
Remember Tony Mandarich? All right. Let's go.
Ooh, Tony Mandarich. He got second pick overall to Michigan State, out of Michigan
To the
State.
Packers, and then we got to take Barry Sanders. Thank you.
I'm going to go Christian Gonzalez. I think Christian Gonzalez is going to be. They've been talking about him all in the early on. His name is kind of faded. He's gone from the Detroit Lions to 20th, 22, 23. It's something about those Oregon players, like with the exception of ours. But that's because he's Samoan and Tongan. That's different. They get a pass. But something about those Oregon players, they don't pan out. They don't translate. So I think it's going to be Christian Gonzalez that's going to not pan out. Do we got time?
Yeah, we got time.
All right.
And you know what time it is.
Who is going to have a chance at some point in their career to win Defensive Player of the Year? Not rookie, but Defensive Player of the Year. If it's more than one, that's fine. If you think somebody's going to win more than one, that's fine too. Any Defensive Player of the Year's match that you see in this draft?
I think it's a simple Jalen Carter and Will Anderson Jr. I mean, I think you'd be remiss in not mentioning those two guys that are going to have a great career.
Okay, Flannel Sam.
I mean, to me, it's an easy Will Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, I said that he'll challenge Javon Curse's rookie sack record in his rookie season. But when it comes to Will Anderson versus some of the others, he's going to put up those big-time numbers. He's going to put up the Micah Parsons type numbers if he pans out. And those are typically the type of players that win those kinds of awards. Give me Will Anderson.
I think that much of Will Anderson, and I'm just for the sake of disagreeing with you guys and going off the board a little bit. How about Nolan Smith, the outside linebacker from Georgia? Because he too is going to go to a good team, and it's very rare that a defensive lineman is an MVP type player. I mean, you only have so many Aaron Donalds outside of Aaron Donald, who was the last one. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so you got to be really
Chris
dominant.
Jones would have been last year.
Perhaps.
Yeah, he finished second. He finished runner-up.
Exactly.
But to your point,
exactly. Think about how dominant he was, and he didn't win. So I'm going to go Nolan Smith, Georgia.
I'm going to go Kalijah Cansey. I think Kalijah Cansey has a chance to be a defensive player. Obviously, Will Anderson, I don't even have to say it. Kalijah Cansey, I think, once again, goes later in the rounds fast. He's on the outside. One more, maybe a break?
Yeah, one more, and then we'll break.
Offensive Player of the Year. Who has how many of the players in this draft have the chance to be Offensive Player of the Year? I think it's on. I'll go first. I think Bijan Robinson, Offensive Player of the Year. I believe Anthony Richardson has a chance to be Offensive Player of the Year. And I think that's it. I think Anthony Richardson and Bijan Robinson.
And Bryce Young.
I don't think Bryce Young. No. I think Bryce Young is going to be a tremendous leader of that team. I think Bryce Young is going to make cerebral decisions. But in terms of lighting it up, in terms of being the Offensive Player of the Year, I don't think so. It's just my thoughts.
Anybody else?
I would probably only say Bijan Robinson. But you know what? I'll add to it. I will add to it. Bijan Robinson will do it in a year in which he has over 2,000 yards from scrimmage.
I like it.
Sam, who do you want more, Bijan Robinson or Will Anderson for the Lions?
Probably
You're only allowed one.
Will Anderson.
No, Will Anderson. Even I want Will Anderson.
All right.
My Bijan love, by the way, I said the two caveats.
Yeah.
Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are gone. Then I want Bijan.
Yeah.
You got it.
You know what's funny about playing this game, doing this, trying to come up with who's going to be this, who has a chance to this? You're starting to realize why he said there were only 15 first-round grades.
No doubt. There's no doubt about it.
We're struggling to name more than one person in things.
We're going to come back.
I got another bust. How about Lucas Van Ness?
Oh, God. He never even started a game at Iowa.
If you give me Iowa, just stop talking. That's how I feel about Iowa. In college, Iowa is great in the Big Ten. You're talking about drafting those players. If you mention an Iowa player, I will slap you.
I have something that'll force me to jump off a bridge. How about the Lions trade back from 6 to 17, and then they have 17 and 18, and they get Lucas Van Ness and Sam Laporta. Two Iowa guys.
Thank God.
J-E-T-S.
No, God, please, no.
Guys, we'll finish this in just
up,
one.
Ryan.
Larry Lage going to join us in about 12 minutes from now, but first a message from Custom Health Centers. Fellas out there, you're feeling tired. You feeling depressed, unmotivated, maybe you got a low sex drive. muscle loss or belly fat, Maz, you got all that. Testosterone optimization therapy is a safe and effective way to restore your vitality, confidence, and performance and reduced heart disease.
I like sex, though.
Visit CustomHealthCenters.com, no doubt about it. CustomHealthCenters.com. Call today, 877-965-0910. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Oh, man.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan.
Join the Pepper Club for all the best deals in town. Plus, they will beat all competitors by $5. ChiliPeppersTanning.com. Hottest bulbs, hottest deals, darkest tans. Your vitamin D headquarters.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hour number 2, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch. We've got the great Sam Flannel over there. JB working hard tonight, getting us set up at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. He and the team working really hard to make sure that our setup looks nice and works.
100%. That's the key part.
Yeah,
thing.
And we want to invite everybody out to 5th Avenue tonight. That's where we'll be hosting our Woodward Sports NFL Draft Show. If you can't make it out to Royal Oak tonight, feel free. We'd love to see you on YouTube, on woodwardsports.com. We'll be right there. You can put us on your TV, on your computer, on your phone, however you want to do it. But woodwardsports.com, the place to be. Beginning tonight at 7:30, we will take you all through the first round of the NFL Draft, and we're pretty excited about it.
It'll be a lot of fun. You know, last year we actually weren't on the air. How we did last year is we segmented it for 5 picks. I think everybody had 5 picks. So Adam Baydoun and those guys were on when the Lions picked last year. So it'd be good to actually be on this year when the Lions pick at 6. That'd be fun.
No doubt. Matt,
you
you excited?
They'll be trading it.
There you go. We'll still be on, though.
Yeah,
we'll be on, though.
No doubt.
Great. I hope everyone gets to come down and hang out with us.
And if you can, again, woodwardsports.com. I know we have
I'm
a lot of
bowling for this.
You are.
I am. Final night of bowling.
Get out of here.
Yep.
Final night of bowling.
Night.
Now, did you have any chance to win any money tonight?
We won money. We finished second. Had we won last week and finished first, which we lost by 1 game, there would have been a roll-off between the first 2 winners. So it's lucky. I wanted to win, but I'm kind of glad that we're not playing for first tonight because I really would have been in agony.
Oh, my gosh.
I would have been in agony. My favorite night, draft night, and and trying to win a championship for your team.
How much would you have won if you rolled a couple of turkeys tonight?
I don't know, Ryan. There's a lot of money at stake.
What about if you did any 4-baggers?
Yeah, okay, we don't know. You don't. I got to take you bowling so you can know what the hell you're talking about.
ASAP, you embarrassing.
I've got to get you bowling.
Cap.
Now you actually use that right though. You actually use that right. Although you,
who wants to join a summer league with me? Anybody?
Larry Lage going to join us coming up in about 10 minutes from now. Braylon, we have got to wrap up your top 10. Not wrap it up, but finish it up. I should
definitely.
say.
We're gonna do it this way now. Any MVPs in this draft?
Yes.
Any MVPs in this draft?
Yes.
Ryan and Monty, you sound excited about it?
Absolutely.
Give me some MVPs in this draft.
I think Bryce Young is a potential league MVP. I think this kid's going to be a really good quarterback. And I also think Will Anderson is a potential MVP. Right. And I don't say that lightly. And the reason I'm going to say that he is a potential MVP is because I compare him to a Von Miller type guy. He can put his hand in the dirt. He can stand up. He can line up at linebacker, inside, outside, all up and down the line. There's so many different ways that Will Anderson can beat you. I just think that kid can do everything. I love Will Anderson.
I got your MVP.
Okay,
you know who I'm picking. I'm picking my unicorn.
Okay.
I'm picking Anthony Richardson. Anthony Richardson's going to make somebody very, very happy. I'm telling you, the kid is going to be a winner. I don't care.
Okay.
He's
Flannel
a winner.
Sam.
I agree with Ryan on this one. It's got to be Bryce Young. I think he has the potential to be the best quarterback in franchise history. They've got some good defensive pieces. Miles Sanders, DJ Chark. I'm just saying, they can contend for the division next season, and depending on how well they draft and supplement their roster, they could be perennial winners. So give me Bryce Young.
Bryce Young. All right, you guys ready for my answer?
Yep.
For those of you at home, you can't see that because
that's not fair.
The answer is 0 MVPs. And let me tell you why. Before you say, man, hold on, let me tell you why. First of all, do you know how hard it is to win MVP? So you can count off every defensive player on that list. Because if TJ Watt ain't winning with 22 and a half sacks, if he's not winning MVP with 22 and a half sacks in 15 games, none of these players stand a damn chance.
Lawrence Taylor was an MVP.
Yeah, and guess what? 40 years ago. Now, you want to get to the offensive side of the ball? Running backs don't win MVP. That cancels Bijan Robinson. I don't care what Bijan Robinson does. Derrick Henry had 2,300 yards from scrimmage. Did he win MVP? He definitely did not. He lost to Aaron Rodgers. Or what did he lose to? Your boy, I think. Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. It doesn't matter. Quarterback-wise, I don't think Bryce Young has enough to win MVP.
No.
I think he has enough to be a damn good player in this league. I think he definitely can sustain some wins, and in that weak division, definitely can go over. But no, Anthony Richardson, no. Will Levis, he'll be a bust. CJ Stroud, good career, not an MVP. MVP is tough to do, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing, man, because every time they take Sam Flannel's shot, there's Maz in the bottom right-hand corner, and it makes me laugh. I just think it's so great. It's so funny. I just love it. I just love it.
That's funny. Okay, maybe.
I just love it.
Okay, Anthony Richardson.
Listen, Cam Newton won MVP.
And that's why I just said.
That's why.
Okay, true, but Cam Newton is one of the greatest college quarterbacks of all time. Like, let's not act like he didn't do what he did in the 2010 season going into the national championship game where they beat a terrible Oregon. So pipe down. But if it's going to be anybody, it will be Anthony Richardson, I think.
Yeah,
because of that, it'd be
I agree.
Anthony Richardson. And, I'm still looking.
2 more, right?
Most Super Bowls.
Bijan. And the reason I'm going to say Bijan is because I'm going to say he goes to Philadelphia, and I think they can win 2 of the next 4 Super Bowls, and 2 might be the
it might be the winner.
Might be the winner.
I agree, because I actually had, when you talk about Bijan Robinson, you talk about offensive rookie of the year. I think based on that system, Bijan could be the offensive player of the year, period. Like how that team is set up, he could be the offensive player of the year. If it's the Eagles, which we think it is, he could be offensive player of the year this year. So yeah, definitely I think Bijan as well.
Ooh, this answer is going to seem like a cop-out, but Super Bowl is very situational. I say whatever receiver, defensive lineman, or offensive lineman falls to the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true.
Hey, Brett Veach knows how to pick them. Yeah,
that's fact right there.
Yeah.
Or the 49ers, baby. or the 49ers. Nah, that's a good one. It is situational. That's why I just threw it on there. First All-Pro and then best
Whoever's
career.
the Lions pick, that's who I'm picking.
All right,
Super Bowls.
My one player is
Will
both
Anderson
of those.
answers all these questions?
No, 1 and 2. Best career in first All-Pro. You ready for this?
Yeah.
I've got it. And maybe even a gold jacket. Paris Johnson Jr.
Ooh.
The offensive lineman.
You reach for that one. I like that. Well, not reach, wrong run. You went to your back for that one.
It's an offensive lineman who's going to probably have, all these other guys we're talking about, how long is their career going to be? I mean, Paris Johnson, the offensive line is probably the guy that's going to play the longest.
Yeah.
So I'll take, as my little 100-page sheet here that I have, I'll take the number 1 offensive tackle on the board, Paris Johnson, and I'll say he's going to be my first All-Pro and have the best career.
First All-Pro, I think, is an easier answer. I wouldn't even try to look for it. I think it's Will Anderson Jr. I think he's the first All-Pro. Or Jalen Carter. Because I think Jalen Carter could kind of have an impact like Quentin Williams did last year with the New York Jets. Best career, I think, is going to be Kalijah Kancey. I know that sounds crazy. Smaller, but less injury. He's faster. Elijah Cancel, I think, will have an extended career. I think I have the best one.
He's a little bit of an enigma to me because he's so small, and I think a lot of people believe that we just, the everyday sports fan sees Aaron Donald in a Pittsburgh Panthers uniform, and you put Elijah Cansey next to him, and these guys look similar.
They really don't even play the same position. That's the funny thing.
Well, exactly. Yeah. So I think a lot of people just line those two guys up and say, if Aaron Donald can do it, so can
If he didn't go to Pitt, you wouldn't hear one Aaron Donald comparison.
Exactly.
He goes to Pitt, it's an Aaron Donald comparison.
He does have a great tape.
Oh,
you watch his tape.
He does.
He looks great.
He does.
I didn't see any of the bad plays, but his good plays look really phenomenal.
You got to be leery when you're watching tape with the ACC because there is no bad film because ACC stinks.
Yeah, I guess so.
You got to be careful watching that ACC footage.
I like that Drew Sanders kid in Arkansas. I hope the Lions get him. A linebacker guy. I like him, man.
He was good. He was at Alabama. He played inside.
Yeah.
And then he got to Arkansas. They moved him outside. So he's played in. He's played out.
Every play he's in.
One thing you got to pay attention, I said this the other day, the Lions, a lot of what I'm hearing from Brad Holmes, if you pay attention to the players that he breaks down, they play multiple positions. They started off in one position. They moved in. I know that's everybody in college football, but these guys play at a high level, multiple positions. I think that's what Brad Holmes is looking for. The more you can do, players that can play safety as well as DB, players that can play inside as well as outside on the defensive line. Watch out for players that have multiple purposes and uses.
I'm so intrigued by what Houston does it to, because that's when I think the draft starts. And I'm really intrigued to see how many teams are able to trade and how many trades will be made, because for the longest time there was a rule in football that you don't want to trade away your draft picks, and then you saw teams trade off their draft picks for Super Bowls. F them picks, right? Wasn't that the saying? Yep. And then it was unheard of to trade within your division. And now everybody's trading within their division. And then on draft night, there hasn't been a crap ton of trades. Watch there be like 5-6 trades tonight. I mean, whether teams fall in love with players, teams don't fall in love with players, but just want to try to accumulate more picks in another draft. I am curious to see how many trades are made, because that could just totally turn this whole thing upside down.
Everybody's always trying to change the game. Everybody's always trying to change the game.
That's kind of where I was going with that, too. 100%. Thank you for picking me up on that.
As soon as something changes, as soon as something occurs, this is a new way to do something, everybody jumps on that bandwagon. Then it takes the person that's 11th on the bandwagon like, wait, if everybody's doing this, then how is the next wave to have success? And I think that's what you're seeing. Like every year, someone's trying to figure out, what aren't people thinking about? What's the new wave? Because that one's not going to work forever.
No doubt. Yeah. Guys, we're going to try to get Larry Lage on the line. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. That's right. For over 60 years, this place, Fairway Packing, has been providing Michigan's finest restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef, Wagyu beef, and dry-aged beef. You can experience the Fairway difference yourself today. You don't have to go to the high-end restaurants to eat like a king. You could just do it yourself in your kitchen, on your grill, whatever the case may be. Visit their steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods for grab-and-go steaks, or you can order online. They ship anywhere. Fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com. Cut, sourced, aged, packed to perfection.
Saturdays at 1 p.m. Make sure you're watching WoodwardSports.com for our new show, Chompin' Puck.
He shoots! He scores!
With four-time Stanley Cup champion Darren McCarty and Michael Gentry, Chompin' Puck is taking the Detroit hockey community and giving them a voice. Pros to Joes. You'll get the best Detroit hockey coverage around. Chompin' Puck. Saturdays 1 p.m. on WoodwardSports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Hey, if you're watching Woodward Sports, about 1,000 live viewers right now, hit that like button. Let's get to 300 likes by the end of this segment. Why the hell not? Just hit that like button. Maybe you're watching on your phone. Boom, smash, like.
I know we're talking about draft, but I just had to say one thing.
Say whatever you want.
Playoff Jimmy gets buckets.
Oh, man. We'll get there, Bray. We'll get there.
I just had to throw that out there.
Contain your excitement.
I just had to throw that out there.
What happened to the Bucks?
Oh, I love
Jimmy buckets.
Well, I love Giannis Antetokounmpo too. Did you see what he said after about the failure?
He's a stud.
I did, and I loved it, but part of it I did not like.
Let me just say, do we have that, Maz? Do we have that clip?
No.
Okay, so
it's owned by NBA.
Yeah, that's right. So what he said last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo was.
You want me to be the reporter?
Yes.
I'll be the reporter. Giannis, was this season a failure?
Okay, no, man. You asked me that question last year, man. You asked me that question last year. I'm going to ask you. You didn't get a promotion at your job this year. Was that a failure?
Yeah.
Every year, you're going to have a winner or loser. We're not trying to lose. We're trying to get better. We're trying to win. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you lose. It's not a failure. We try to win the championship every year. It doesn't happen. If you don't get an award or a promotion every year, is your year a failure? And it was true. Right? I mean, the way he said it is true.
And then he threw the Michael Jordan.
If we're
analysis.
not, that he said Michael Jordan played 15 years in the NBA. He won 6 championships. Were the other 9 years a failure? Now, Michael might tell you.
Yeah.
So you ready for this?
Yes. But I understand the point, and I appreciated it.
It was beautifully eloquated by Giannis Antetokounmpo. How could you not love Giannis Antetokounmpo? Like, he is legitimately a human being for this world. But with that being said, like, it's a failure. Like, the season's not a failure because they're number one. Playoffs are a failure. You can't be number 1 seed in the NBA playing the 8 seed. You can't be the number 1 team, best offensive team, playing the worst offensive team, and you're the best defensive team, and you lose first round 5-1. 4-1. It's a failure.
No, yeah,
failure.
That's a failure. Now, the season's not a failure, but the postseason was. And he answered the whole season. I get it. The guy asked him the same question last year. What a jerk. I get it. But you can't be number 1 and the number 1 player in the league and the better offense in the league and the best defense in the league and lose to the Miami Heat, the 8 seed. You can't do that.
If this was 1991 or 92,
everybody be fired.
The next series would be awesome. The Heat and the Knicks, holy crow. Did they hate each other? Jeff Van Gundy grabbing Alonzo Mourning around his. Those two teams hated each other. But that's the next series. One of those teams are playing for the Eastern Finals.
And that's something.
It's
that is so great.
Be the Knicks and the Lakers. What you think about that?
I'm here for it. I'd absolutely.
I just don't want to see the Lakers.
I'd be more intrigued by that than anything. Shout out to Scabs, who wanted me to talk about my appearance on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Yes, I was on Jimmy Kimmel last night.
You were?
It was a clip that he took from Fox 2, and it was really funny. We had an open mic in a bathroom. And while I was on the news, and there was somebody urinating at the stall, like Frank Drebin in The Naked Gun.
Oh. Okay.
And he played it. It was fantastic. So shout out to Scabs
for
seeing that.
Shout your name out?
No, just Fox 2 Detroit. Excellence in reporting.
That's phenomenal.
Very good. Speaking of excellence in reporting, this guy for decades has been one of the more excellent journalists of really the last generation here locally and around the country. The great Larry Lage, Associated Press sports writer. Larry, thanks so much for the time, my friend. Tom told me you were going to be on today, and I loved it. Thanks for doing this. Thanks so much.
Hey, Larry.
Yeah, what up? Hey, guys. Thanks for the introduction.
Larry, what's going on? How you doing?
Hi, Bray.
Good to see you.
Hey, Larry, let me ask you, big night here, the NFL draft. You've been covering the Detroit Lions for a long time, and it just feels like this organization has found its footing. Have you ever seen this organization in as good a spot as they are right now? And which direction do you think makes them better tonight? Who do you think they take at 6, at 18? And has Brad Holmes gotten to the point where it's kind of an in Brad Holmes we trust situation right now?
So no and yes to answer your first and third question. So no, I don't think I can recall, at least in my lifetime, and I'm about to be 50, the Lions having a GM coach combo that they have now. I think if you look at what Brad Holmes has done in the first 2 drafts that he's had with this franchise, it's hard to not believe in his decision-making, his leadership of this front office, the scouts, how he works in concert with Dan Campbell. I think the Lions, I'm all in on the Lions, and I am as skeptical of a journalist and follower as you can be, probably just short of the late, great Drew Sharp.
The Big Ten sucks. The Big Ten sucks.
So, and still does, by the way.
Cackle.
I admit that
in
every
football
day.
and basketball, but we won't get too far off the topic. So, as I wrote last week, the day before the Jameson Williams and company suspension, I think the Lions are in a position that they have not been in a long, long time. I think they're the odds-on favorite to win the division for the first time since 1993. Gives them a home game, and I have said publicly and privately, I think they'll win a playoff game, which obviously is significant. This franchise has won playoff victory since the 1957 NFL title, before we didn't call the Super Bowl. And I think this team is really set up for success. I believe in this organization, and I don't think I've ever said that or written that. And I think they take the best defensive player available. And if it's Jalen Carter, based on what the Lions believe about his character, I think you've got to believe in them. I think, Witherspoon or Gonzalez is probably more likely to be there, maybe Wilson. But I think they have to get a difference-making playmaker to help this defense that was statistically awful last year, but improved later in the season. You don't win 8 out of 10 games just outscoring people. They did get better on defense, and a lot of that was because of the rookie class from top to bottom contributing.
Talking to longtime AP writer Larry Lage, and he and I have been at this for years now. He's welcoming 50, and I just welcome 40, Larry. So I'm getting up there, man. I'm becoming a grown man. Everybody's excited about the Detroit Lions right now, even myself. I've adopted them as my NFC team. I never played for them, but they're my hometown team. All this good stuff. What can the Lions do and Brad Holmes in this draft to botch it all up? How do the Lions botch it? I'm being honest, because right now, what is the conversation? Oh, it's nothing they can do wrong in this draft. What could the Lions and Brad Holmes potentially do to botch 6-18 or this first round?
I think taking a quarterback at 6. Everything they've said and done has put all their chips to the middle with Jared Goff. And to undermine that with a 6 overall pick, I think would be the only way that they could blow this. Maybe taking another tight end at 6 that they've got to have, but that's a joke. I think if they took the quarterback at 6, it would be a mistake. I think if they took any other position, you could make an argument for it. I think offensive line would probably be a bad move there. I really don't think they need to mess with the offense much. I think Jameson Williams' situation might lead to taking a wide receiver a little bit earlier than maybe they would have otherwise. But I think they desperately need help at defensive tackle. So whoever they think is the best player on defense, I think they should take at 6, 18, second round, load up on defense. I know they love Alex Anzalone, but this team, this franchise has not made a great pick at linebacker in a long time. You could argue the same thing at cornerback, but I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth. I believe in Brad Holmes and his process, and I need to stop talking about the historical laughing stock that this franchise has been. But I would say quarterback, to answer your question.
Okay.
All right, Larry, stay with quarterback. Do you personally believe Jared Goff is the future quarterback of the Detroit Lions? And if he is, are you willing to pay him what quarterbacks are making?
I think I would defer my answer to that and let it play itself out. I certainly wouldn't extend him before his contract wraps up. I think Jared Goff is good enough to take the Lions to the Super Bowl. Yes, I've not been drinking yet. I think he can take them to the Super Bowl next year. I don't think that's ridiculous to say. So I would provide a cop-out to your answer and say I would let it play itself out, Maz.
All right, so part 2. They have not taken a quarterback, reality, since Matthew Stafford. Okay? So here you go. You're picking at 6. The pick you got for Matthew Stafford. Don't you consider this a free pick if Will Anderson and Jalen Carter are already taken off the board? Would you not even think of taking a quarterback that you can develop as your future quarterback behind Goff?
I mean, I answered Braylon's question by saying I think it'd be a mistake to take quarterback. I think whoever they think is the best defensive player at 6 is who they should take. If you ask me what do I think the Lions should do, I think they should take their draft capital to move up a few picks and get Will Anderson and line him up opposite Aiden Hutchinson and just collapse from the edges in a way that would really set this franchise up. So if you're asking me what I think they should trade up and take advantage of this unique opportunity with 4 picks in the first 2 rounds, 5 in the first 83 or whatever it is. And what package is that? I mean, I'll leave that up to the experts, but I think they have the capital to do it, and I think they should. I think it would be incredible for this franchise to have Anderson on one side and Aiden Hutchinson on the other.
No doubt about it. Hey, Larry, a couple of minutes ago you mentioned Jameson Williams. I want to ask you about him. You and your colleague Arnie Stapleton wrote in the AP about the hypocrisy of the NFL with the gambling stance. For those people who have not read that column, can you just kind of summarize what you wrote and how you feel about Jameson Williams and these other players being suspended by the league for gambling?
So when the suspensions came down, my bosses at the AP asked all the NFL writers, like, what story ideas do you have as a follow-up to the news? And my thought was the NFL as a league and each of its teams bank millions of dollars in marketing agreements with casinos and gambling apps. And to take that money in one hand and in the other hand say, no, you can't really gamble, it begged the question, is that hypocritical to me? I think everyone agrees NFL players should not be gambling on NFL games. We're not talking about that. But, to have it be against the rules for Jameson Williams, whether he was in the facility or on a team bus or a plane or a hotel, for him to lose 6 games because he did that, to me, seems hypocritical. That being said, Jameson Williams and the other suspended players knew the rules, or they should have, because it's posted everywhere and they have seminars. It was a dumb, immature mistake, period. So it should not have made it. But it begs the question, the NFL has leagues. The league is allowing teams to have sports books in its stadiums. And so they're promoting gambling. They're collecting all this money, but then they're restricting how and when and where their players can gamble on non-NFL games. And I talked to Jim Miller and Larry Stevens and John Jansen and got good takes from each of them to speak to this. And Jim Miller gave me the best stuff. He said when he was with the Bears, Paul Tagliabue came to town and pulled one of his teammates out of the locker room and said, you can no longer be associating with this casino owner that you've become friends with. So, the NFL knows, whether it's integrated technology or old school retired FBI agents, they know what you're doing. Braylon can probably back that up. So there's no hiding, by the NFL players. But to me, it is very hypocritical of the league.
Larry, just to kind of piggyback on that, my only issue with the situation is the inconsistency of the NFL, not making things clear. Look, I've been in the NFL. I know when things come out and they tell the masses, hey, we have very strict rules on this. We told the players, they don't tell us nothing. Like at the end of the day, what happens is they'll have They'll have people come in, they'll have people speak, but they won't make it mandatory for you to necessarily go into that meeting after you've been at the facility for 9 hours. They won't make it mandatory. Guys don't necessarily get that information. And also with that, a lot of those rules have been in place. I remember being in NFL, gambling on planes, coming back from, away games, playing bull ray, playing ton. I remember some Lions players that lost upwards of over $100,000. Like, that's the game. But these rules have been in place since then. So don't tell me with not you, but just for the NFL, don't tell me that, well, we said the guys can't do this. It's an old rule still in there, and they were able to kind of get this on a technicality for Jamison Williams. I agree with you. At the end of the day, he violated the rule. He's going to have to own up to it. $332,000. It's definitely going to give him a wake-up call and not do it again. But I just have this question. If it's so clear and everyone knows not to do it, then why did Miles Austin, as a coach now, why did he bet on, and he didn't know he can bet in December? Why are guys for Detroit Lions? It's 4 guys for the Lions. It's 3 people in the front office for the Lions, or upstairs, if you will. It's somebody for the Washington Commanders. Somewhere there's a disconnect with the conversation of what you can and cannot do as it relates to gambling, and the NFL hasn't made it all the way clear. Because if they did, it's no way you could tell me that Jamison Williams is placing $5,000 to lose $332,000 and 6 games and the love of the fans of Detroit. Somewhere there's a disconnect, Larry.
Yeah, and to be frank, I think some of the disconnect is that Jamison Williams is not very emotionally mature. I flat out stopped following him on social media because it was like I was following one of my kids' friends, and I don't want to see that. Now, he wasn't doing anything illegal. We're not talking about, a Ja Morant situation, but, it just struck me as really an immature kid. And when he made this decision, I don't want to say I was surprised, because I wasn't. And in terms of the NFL making this known, there are hundreds, thousands of NFL players, and 5 got popped. That tells me the message is getting out pretty clear, or most players have discipline, or they have, their boy put their bets in or whatever. It was a costly mistake. At the end of the day, for the Lions, I don't think it's that devastating.
Yeah.
One of these players is significant, potentially very significant, and he's out for 6 games out of 17, maybe 18 or 19. And maybe it's the wake-up call he needs early in his career to tighten up his decision-making, which at the end of the day may help him and the Lions.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you. Last thing I'll say is he definitely needs to mature. I agree with you on that, Larry. But at the same time, the Lions knew who this guy was when they drafted him. Like, his social media didn't all of a sudden become this immature social media thing. They saw his social media when he was at Alabama, when he was in high school. You have track records. You have the data. They knew he was at then. This is just young kids in this era. So they might have dropped the ball.
And to be real clear, I'm not saying that I think Jamison Williams is a bad kid.
I read your piece. I loved it.
I'm saying his brand management on social media screams of immaturity, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree.
Larry, your all too early prediction for the Detroit Lions we were just talking about failed seasons with Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is it a failed season anything short of a division championship next year?
Yes, and I agree with Braylon on Giannis and the Bucks. Yeah. And with all due respect to Giannis's heartfelt response, you play to win the game.
I'm trying to tell you.
If you have that kind of record, you have expectations of advancing, and they didn't, and they failed. And unfortunately, no one really cares about the regular season at the end of the day. I wouldn't call the Bills a failure, in their Super Bowl situation. I wouldn't say Tom Izzo has been a failure since his 2000 championship, because he's only gone to 6 more Final Four. Right. I don't quite set the bar that high. That would probably be more in the disappointment camp. But yes, I think the Lions don't take advantage of this amazing opportunity they have to win the division for the first time in 30 years, 3 decades. I think next season will be a failure. Now, they could bounce back with a wild card with a win or two, but they should win the division. And they should win that home playoff game against whoever at Ford Field. And, we'll be in mid-January by then, and that would be a lot of fun. I mean, I have said, and you guys know, if the Lions ever can put this together and make a run, it would make all the other championship runs and the hysteria we have seen in this town and this state look like nothing. Like when the Red Wings were rolling and all you saw was car flags, flapping in the wind with the Red Wings and the Pistons. You got to be a little older, my age at least, to remember the Tigers being good. People went crazy in '84. I think all of it would make it look like, the USL Michigan Panthers win the championship if the Lions could somehow pull it off.
Yeah, I agree with you. It'll be a 67-year journey to get to that Super Bowl. And it's with the thing with Giannis, I agree with you 100%. The only thing where he lost is when he mentioned Jordan. Because we know Jordan, if he loses before the championship, it's a failed season.
The great Larry Lage. You can follow him on Twitter at Larry Lage. Of course, longtime AP sports writer, one of the best in the biz. We certainly appreciate you here on Woodward Sports, Larry. Hope to talk to you again down the road.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope so, too. 23 years, believe it or not.
Unbelievable, man. We're all getting older.
We're
all getting older.
We're all getting
older, Larry.
You're absolutely right. Dang, 23.
We're all getting older, buddy.
Now you say it like that, I got to go home and go to sleep.
Stuff. That's so great to talk to Larry. And you can read him on the AP. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. Come right back. When we do, we'll go around the NFL news and notes. Big night tonight. Any of the latest news regarding the top of the NFL draft. But first, a message from Cousins Maine Lobster.
All right, Cousins Maine Lobster bringing the best of Maine right here to Detroit. Try their variety of sweet Maine lobster. The menu items are awesome. 2 food trucks rolling around the city. You can also find their event schedule on cousinsmainelobster.com, or you can check right there on that QR code. It'll take you right there. Download their app and find out if they're in a town near you. Cousins Maine Lobster. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, 1 for you, 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Welcome back to Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. It is draft day. Thursday. You guys ready? I'm ready. Maz, how you really feeling about this draft? You feeling good? Optimistic? Where you at?
I'm very, very excited. But we got 2 picks. So we're on the clock twice.
Fine, but
I just cannot wait for 8 o'clock to get going. Pick Bryce Young. Let's move on. Let's see what the Houston Texans do and just get to pick number 6 because I cannot wait to see who the next Detroit Lion's going to be. And then I can't wait to pick number 18. Or maybe we move up like we did last year.
Well, you know what? We've been talking a lot about the draft. Mass, how about we switch gears? Because we got to be talking about the draft at 7:30 at 5th Ave tonight. Why don't we just go around the NFL?
You got it. Let's start with Aaron Rodgers. Yesterday was his introduction day at the New York Jets offices in Jersey. We showed you the video yesterday of him walking in and high-fiving with Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh and the rest. Woody Johnson was there.
He ain't wearing 12?
He ain't wearing 12. He's wearing his college number 8. He wanted to leave Joe Namath's number
good for him
right where it is. And let's hear from Aaron Rodgers how excited he is to be a New York Jet.
And obviously, Joe has got a great track record so far of drafting some incredible players, but it takes a system, and obviously Robert has the right sauce, so I'm excited about getting to work with him and Brick and Mark Quan, former teammate of mine, and it's a great staff. But you know, I'm an old guy, so I want to be a part of a team that can win it all, and I believe that this is a place we can get that done.
Old guy, and I want to play where I can win it all, and he feels the New York Jets give him the best chance. And Bray, I think you agree with them.
Yeah, 100%. He's a happy dude. Listen, last night I did a Sack Exchange tweet party. So what happens is you guys have seen it where you get the tweet groups, get a bunch of guys in a group or get people in the group, and you just go in like a forum. It's kind of like a Zoom call during COVID. You raise your hand and you talk and put you on mute. So I did this yesterday with about maybe just under 200 fans or so.
Yeah.
Man, you got grown men that have been fans of the New York Jets for over 60 years, over 40 years, like damn near crying in this chat last night. It was amazing. They were talking about, the 2009 and 10 season, but just talking about last year, if they would have had a quarterback, what it would have meant. Not only do they not have a quarterback, they got one of the guys that can be considered one of the greatest of all time. It's so much electricity going on in New York, and I feel good for them. They've dealt with a lot of bad years from Joe Namath until now. A lot of bad quarterbacks, a lot of bad football. I mean, you're talking about the same team that has the butt fumble. Need I say more? I say more? So
they are the Detroit Jets. I've said it from the get-go. I mean, I rooted for two of the worst teams in the NFL history. The Jets have not won a Super Bowl as an NFL team. They won it as an American Football League team, and they were the reason that the NFL and AFL combined. And I know
Bobby Lane curse.
I'm a big Joe Namath guy, and I'm glad number 12 is still retired.
I am too. And I'll be honest with you, I never, and maybe I'm harder on Aaron Rodgers than I need to be, but I never anticipated Aaron Rodgers have the class, really, to allow that number to remain in the roster, up in the rafters. I never pegged him to have that kind of class to be able to do that. But just the last thing about this too, before I forget, Carter in the chat says, "I want to see the Jets on Hard Knocks now," and you will. The Jets were one of 3 teams that
have to
that have to do it. They can't say no, and obviously they're going to be that.
You're going to see them a lot on national TV. You're going to see the Lions a lot on national TV as well.
100%. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers. I don't think it's not class and why he didn't get Joe Namath's number. Aaron Rodgers is a guy that doesn't want to follow anybody's footsteps, and he knows if he would have put that 12 on with the New York Jets, it doesn't matter what he's done in his career. Everybody will be looking at that's Joe Namath. That's Joe Namath. That's Joe Namath. And if he doesn't win a Super Bowl, he's going to be Joe Namath until he wins a Super Bowl. So Aaron wasn't stupid. There was no way he could have got 12.
Here he is talking about that very man, Broadway Joe.
There's some iconic names that have played here, probably none more iconic than number 12. And I heard what he said about unretiring his number, but to me, 12 is Broadway Joe, and I didn't want to even go down that path, and I'm excited about going back to my college number. But there's something special about playing in a city for a team like this with a storied franchise, and obviously going way back to Super Bowl III. To be a part of something special would definitely help you go down in the history of an organization. Already have 18 years in an incredibly iconic organization, and it'd be fun to be a part of the history of this one as well.
Joe Douglas is a big
Look
dude.
at the size of Joe Douglas.
Yeah, Robert Saleh is
Holy
no
Toledo.
He's not.
Small guy either.
He makes Saleh look like Fletch next to Maz.
100%. He's not. He's excited, boy. Aaron Rodgers is excited. Because he's in the city. He say he made Fletch look like Maz.
Saleh looks like Fletch next to Maz when he's sitting next to Joe Douglas.
Aaron Rodgers looks smaller than all of them.
He does.
Come on. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Let's get a look. Look at Fletch. Look at Fletch. Fletch looks like Saleh. Maz like Joe Douglas.
And this is standing. That's how I really look right there when he was standing up.
I love you, Maz. Thanks for letting me have some fun with you.
You always do. You always do. That's why I follow you wherever you go. Hey, now, playing in New York, that's the thing everyone's worrying about. Can Aaron Rodgers play in New York? Well, he tackled that subject yesterday as well.
This was a big draw because of the people you see on stage here, obviously Coach Hackett, the opportunity to be a part of a city that's hungry, that's a team, an incredible fan base that's hungry to win again. 12 years without the playoff, not Super Bowl wins since Super Bowl III. It's been a long time. So the opportunity to be a part of something special here, it's different. It's similar to Green Bay in that way. When you win in a city like Green Bay, well, I assume for a team like the New York Jets, you go down in history, and there's something special about adding that to your legacy.
So great. It's so great. Hey, the Packers put up thank you note as well, Aaron Lage. Look, one of the greatest players in the organization's history. He said goodbye to the fans respectfully. They respectfully, in turn. This is the way you want it to end. And it did. And some day down the road, he will have a retirement ceremony like Brett Favre did.
Will he go?
Huh?
Will he go?
Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But they're going to put his name up there.
You don't know.
Hey, he's going to do great for the Jets.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I agree.
He is going to do great for the Jets.
He can't do any worse than the quarterbacks last year.
No doubt. Guys, I got to get a break in. Let's get a message from the Folding Warehouse.
All right, Folding Warehouse. Aaron Rodgers loves the Folding Warehouse. Everybody does because it's in Hamtramck, Michigan to begin with. It's a great game. Throw football and a bunch of bowling pins. That's right. Get on down there. $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation, 2 hours for $120, 10 or 12 people on a lane. If you're thirsty, they've got multiple full bars, so any drink you want. Over 100 beers on the menu and the $2 mystery beer machine. You want some food? Bring your own in or have it delivered. That's right. You can DoorDash it right to Folding Warehouse. Check it out at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron. Here we go. Got to grab the cranberry. Oh, wait. It's 2 for $4. Got to double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Planet Fitness is home of the judgment-free zone where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. The gym that has always been known for being clean is now cleaner than ever, has tons of equipment, a full-body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, and all memberships include fitness training, and you can get all of this for only $10 a month.
Only $10?
Only $10. Insane. Your fitness is essential, and fitness is a key part of physical and mental wellness. Join today in club or online at planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Let's get back to Tom Mazawey. Hey, meet us out there tonight, by the way. 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. It's our Woodward Sports NFL Draft Party. And, of course, we will have a draft show. We'll be on live beginning at 7:30. Take you all through the first round. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We've got Adam Beydoun out there. Sam Flannel. The heavyweights are going to be out there. Neil Rule will be out there. If you work at Woodward Sports, you are out there. So we'll be out there. Is Matt coming tonight?
I think so.
I know he was up north yesterday. I wasn't sure if he was back today or not.
Snuck out on me last night.
Hey, there's a couple teams in the NFC that do not want Bijan Robinson slipping to the Philadelphia Eagles at number 10.
I thought about that, actually. Can I just say, again, it goes back to my original Will Anderson and Jalen Carter gone.
Right.
If you're the Lions, do you take, and you know that Philadelphia is your primary competition in the NFC, do you take him so that Philadelphia doesn't have him? Is there some gamesmanship potentially that could go on with that, or is that just doesn't happen when it comes to building a team?
The Yankees and the Red Sox always did that to each other.
I think you do moves like that during the season, picking up players or something like that. If there's a rival that you have and there's a receiver on the open market, both of you got, or you don't even need a wide receiver, but a team needs a wide receiver. Remember when Green Bay was kind of trending for moves like Odell, et cetera, and you look at like San Francisco or the Patriots or the Kansas City Chiefs. one of those teams snagging them so that you don't have to contend with him on that side. I think something like that. But to draft a player, to change your draft strategy so that another team doesn't have, I think that's too much. Like, even if Bijan's a part of the Lions draft strategy, if he's not draft strategy in 6 or moving somewhere to 11 to get him, whether you move down or whether you move back, then don't draft Bijan Robinson just to spite the Philadelphia Eagles because you believe that they own the NFC. Don't make a move like that because you really would destroy your whole idea or your strategy in the draft. Don't do it.
Hey, yesterday the Commanders did not pick up the 5th-year option for Chase Young. Chase Young.
What's wrong with him?
All right, today, the rumor is Chase Young is up for grabs. So is Montez Sweat.
Ooh.
What does that cost you?
Montez Sweat?
No, not Sweat. Chase Young. What does he cost you?
If they're not picking up his option. His option is probably going to be, Sam, probably like $21 million.
I'm just talking about trade value. I mean, is there is there a potential trade there they're talking about?
I mean,
they're dangling him.
As of now, yeah, it would be a trade value now, unless he gets through the season next year and then he's released, he's done. So right now, it's a trade value. What would you be willing to trade? But then
that's a question.
But here's the thing too, with the Washington Commanders, they don't have the leverage in this trade because we all know you didn't pick up his option.
Mm-hmm.
So this could be a smart move.
Is that like a 5th round pick? Is that like a 3rd round pick?
Probably.
Not 5th, maybe 3rd.
Well, I mean, Okudah got you a 5th. So what's Chase Young going to get you, a 3rd?
But then how bad was his injury?
He's banged up
Because here's the deal. He hasn't played since that injury. He got banged up again, but the first injury was the main injury. So you're picking up once again. You're
damaged goods.
You're dealing with an injured player.
Yeah.
And I know how you guys feel about injured players.
Hey, I got one last mock draft to show you. It's Chris Collinsworth's personal draft. We've been talking about his company, Pro Football Focus. Get a load of what Chris Collinsworth has the Lions taken. I'll tell you who they're taking.
Read Braille.
He's got him taking Tyree Wilson, and he's got him taking Will Levis at number 18. He thinks Will Levis falls to 18, and if he does, he's got the Detroit Lions taking him.
If Levis is on the board at 18, I'm taking him too.
Thank you.
If Richardson is on the board, I'm taking him at 18. If Stroud is on the board at 18, I'm taking him. And I might even take Hendon Hooker at 18. I seriously, it depends who's there because, again, we keep talking. This draft sucks. This draft sucks. So if you have the ability, if you think there's a quarterback worth their salt that you think you can take the next 2 years and develop, take him. It's a free pick.
The draft isn't a premier draft from 1 to 32. It's not that type of draft. But it is a damn good draft from picks 12 to about, like if you're looking at...
It's a depth draft.
Yeah, exactly. If you're looking 12 backwards, it's a good draft. I would go the opposite way, though. Like, if Will Levis falls to 18, as opposed to rush to the podium and say, oh, we got a quarterback, I would be like, why in the hell did Will Levis fall to 18 when all these teams in the top 5 need quarterbacks? Nobody necessarily needed quarterback, not for Kenny Pickett last year. Not Kenny Pickett last year. If Will Levis falls to 18, if C.J. Stroud falls to 18, which will not happen, I'm not drafting him. Why am I going to be the dummy? Why am I the dummy? No, because it's different when you talk about a player with potential, and I hate the word character flaws, potential situations. That's different if they fall. You're talking about a person that just, you didn't like his film, that's why he fell? Well, I don't like his film either.
Guys, I got to take a break. We'll come back to wrap it up. I want one bold prediction from each of you about tonight's draft. We'll do it next. But first, a message from Alta. I got 3 minutes left in the show.
At Alta, uptime matters. Alta Equipment has everything you need to get the job done. If you have a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call today. 844-GO-2, Alta. 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
You've heard of Gordon Ramsay. You've heard of Bobby Flay. But Thursday night Master Chef Brad Holmes will be in the kitchen with all of the ingredients needed to make a great dish on draft night. Join Woodward Sports for our 3rd annual Woodward Sports Draft Party live at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. The past 2 years, these Those parties have been standing room only, so get your tickets early at eventbrite.com. Don't miss out on all the fun with Braylon Edwards, Ryan Ermanni, Neil Rule, Darren McCarty, and the entire Woodward Sports crew. The party starts at 7:30 p.m. Don't miss the biggest draft party in the Motor City, brought to you by the biggest network, Woodward Sports.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
Guys, one prediction regarding the NFL draft tonight. A legitimate prediction, not a bold prediction. Doesn't have to be bold. Just a legitimate prediction of what you think is going to happen tonight on the NFL draft. I'll go first and I'll give you an example. Tonight, I said it about a month and a half ago, and I'll say it again. I think Jalen Carter will be picked by a team with 2 first-round picks. That's my prediction for tonight. Jalen Carter gets drafted by a team with 2 first-round picks.
So Houston, Philly, Detroit.
Yes. There's, I believe, 4 teams that have
I'm missing one?
2 first-round picks.
Maybe Chicago?
No, not Chicago.
You said Philly. You said Detroit.
Houston, Philly, Detroit. I know for sure.
Who are we missing out on? Is that a bold pick? Is that a bold move?
I mean, I think it is. Arizona.
A team with 2 picks drafts the best defensive player in the draft.
Yeah, yes.
Because of his
bust factor.
Flags.
Okay. I got you.
I'll give you one.
I like it.
Tennessee Titans are getting their quarterback.
Ooh. Are they going to 2 or 3?
I don't know where they're going, but they're moving up
up.
into the top 10, and they're getting their quarterback.
Got you.
That's good.
Dallas Cowboys moving to the first round to take Bijan Robinson.
Ooh, that's a good one.
100%.
That's a really good one.
I think Dallas moves up. Jerry Jones loves the running back. Jerry Jones likes to be in the media. Jerry Jones likes to be talked about. Like, Cowboys are always talked about. I think this is a move. They move up to get Bijan Robinson. I don't know what they're going to do to do it, but I think that would be my bold.
Zeke's gone, and they have an injured running back.
100%.
And
Tony Pollard.
Jerry got $5 billion. He's not worried about spending some extra cash.
No, he's not worried about that.
Not at all.
Okay, so my bold prediction is that Mazi Smith gets drafted ahead of both Kalijah Kancey and Brian Brzee.
I think that's not a bad one. I think he's gonna. His name might get called tonight.
Yeah, I think he's gonna.
His name might get called tonight.
As many times I've mentioned him today, he better.
Doesn't he just sound like a perfect pick for like the Kansas City Chiefs
At
or something
30?
like that? Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Pair him next to Chris Jones.
No doubt.
In front of Nick. Nick Bolton.
Yeah.
Guys, we hope hope to see you tonight. We're gonna have some fun at 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. If you cannot watch, or if you cannot be there, watch us on WoodwardSports.com beginning at 7:30. I believe the heavyweights coming up at 5 o'clock. So stay tuned for them.
You got
guys.
one NBA game tonight. You got Boston trying to finish off Atlanta, and in the NHL, you've got the Devils and Rangers tied at 2. Can the Leafs put the Lightning away? They're up 3-1. And can Vegas finish off the Jets? They're up 3-1.
Wow. There you go.
And the Orioles are in town.
That's nice. That's really good stuff. All right. What? That's good.
I try to bring everyone up to date.
I want to see them win.
All right.
And how about our true or false yesterday? The Sacramento Kings will not win another game of the series. How about that?
I thought they would. I said they would. But you know what? I love De'Aaron Fox's. I love his attitude. I love his fight. You don't see that a lot in the NBA anymore. In a league where it's low management, you get a paper cut and you don't play. De'Aaron Fox fractured his finger, still plays, still dropped 24, 7-7. He's a warrior. You gotta appreciate it. Pun intended.
All right, good stuff. Bray, get us out of here.
Hey, look, you know what time it is? 7:30. We will be at the 5th Avenue in Royal Oak. We will be there. You guys got to be there. It's gonna to be fun. Detroit Lions. Finally, we can get pick 6 and 18 off the board, and we can get this thing rolling in the 2023 football season. For my man Flannel Sam, Fletch over here, Uncle Maz on the couch, Ryan Ermanni, my brother from another mother to the left.
Time it is.
We will see you guys tonight. Appreciate you.
Let's eat.
Can't get enough Woodward Sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.